Debbie Pay. Seems like everybody's getting kind of a late start here today, but we're going to go ahead and get going, and then hopefully everybody will join us. How you doing? Is it cold over there? It's cold here, but it's beautiful and sunny, but super cold.
It's 45 degrees.
Well, not as cold today.
But
there's Sharma.
we did have a 30 overnight, so, or it's 30 tonight, I'm not sure which.
Hi Sharma, how you doing? Sunny and 57. That's good. All right. Oh, my sister. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in our kit. So those who are watching later aren't watching us look at each other while we wait for them. Okay. It's actually a really cool kit today. This is what we're working on today is the 3 fun folds. And we are going to make all of our own card bases. So in your kit, you have 2 sheets of green cardstock, 2 sheets of white cardstock, and 2 sheets of red cardstock. We will have materials. Move that thing on my hands, please.
Sorry. It's answering your sister.
There we go. Down. There we go. Okay. So you're going to have enough material in cardstock here to build a dozen card bases. And then your kit includes the Let It Snow 8x8 collection, beautiful papers and some fun cutouts and things that will be great for our cards. So we have that. We have the Let It Snow Ephemera pack, which has 48 assorted pieces, lots of beautiful designs in here to use. You have a sheet of rhinestones, and you have 12 envelopes. So that's what we've got to get us going. While we wait here for some of our other compadres to come in, let's go ahead and cut some of our card bases. We're using, our card size today will be A2s. So we are going to begin by cutting our cardstock to 5.5 by 8.5 inch card blanks. There's Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. You'll see I'm using a different cutter than I normally use. I love my Caterpillar. However, the thing about making these cards, these step cards ourselves, is that, excuse me, you have to be able to lift the blade. And with a rotary cutter like our Caterpillar, you can't do that. I need to be able to start my blade any place on my card to cut it. So I'm using one of my other trimmers. But we're just going to take our 12 by 12s and we're going to go ahead and cut those to 5.5 by 8.5 inch card bases. And being careful as I work to make sure that I am not including in my measures the got something on that piece of cardstock. It's outside. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, maybe it's not. I was gonna say it's outside of what I need for my card base, but it's not. I might have to get another piece of paper there. Huh. I don't know what that's got on it. It's got something on it. Okay. Is it coming off of me? I don't think so. But now I have a spot on this one, so I need to wash my hands. I don't think I've got anything on me, but you never know. Hi Glenn, how you doing? Grace grabbed me another sheet of the screen when he comes over. So we're cutting our cardstock to 5.5 by 8.5, which means that from each piece of 12 by 12 we can get 2 card bases. And it's unusual for us to make our own cards, but I thought as long as we are going to be manipulating them, we might as well just start with cardstock and show you how to do the whole 9 yards today. So that's what I'm doing while we kind of stall a little bit here and wait for others to get here. Everybody ready for Thanksgiving? We will not be having a Thanksgiving class because I'll be celebrating Thanksgiving with my family, and so there won't be class on Thursday, but I will be putting up new specials every day, which is kind of fun. Has anybody checked out the Black Friday specials for today? I put up new specials at midnight last night. I missed cutting one of my. Okay. Hi, Roberta. Good to see you, friend. Okay. So we got our white and green done. So your first starting point is to cut your cardstock into A2 size pieces, which is 5.5 by 8.5. That will fold to a 5.5 by 4.25 card. One more. Well, the first day of our sale on Friday, I put up select memory box dies at 70% off. 70% off Christmas dies from Memory Box. And there are some sweet ones in there, really good ones. In fact, I'm going to show you a couple card samples done using some of those dies here momentarily. Hi, Mary T. So the first sale category was Christmas Memory Box dies. Bryce wandered off, and I needed a replacement piece of cardstock. We'll be okay for now. So as I explained, I'm using a different trimmer today because for what we're working on today, I need to be able to set down my blade anywhere on my cardstock and start cutting. So I'm using a little different trimmer than I usually use. I also have one of my mini scoreboards here. This happens to be one by Tattered Lace. So I have that available. Before I go further, I want to show you a couple of the Memory Box dies we put out there. This card was made using one of the Stitchery dies for Christmas. Margie made this card, and this starburst is made using that stitchery die to complete. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. So the stitchery on here is done. Then she actually die cut this centerpiece. But isn't that beautiful? That's done using one of her sale dies. This card is done using one of her sale dies, the candle. It's out there and it's 70% off suggested retail. Absolutely stunning die. I love not only the die, but I love the outer frame, because with the outer frame of this one, you can use that for a lot of different things. So this is beautiful. And that's a good size die. This is like a $25 die. And it's on sale for like $7.50. This one's using a couple of her Christmas dies that are on sale. We've got the mistletoe on the outer rings there. That mistletoe die is on sale. And they're 70% off. And then that beautiful ornament die is also 70% off. So we've got some amazing deals from Memory Box. And then today, I added day 2 of the sale. And I didn't bring any samples to come with this, but the deal for day 2 is buy 1 Hunkydory stamp set, get 3 Hunkydory stamp sets free. So you're buying 1 at regular price and you get 3 more for free. So, and we all know how beautiful the Hunkydory stamp sets are and how good quality they are. So that's a fun sale for today. And each day I'm going to be putting up new values. We have some amazing ones that we're going to be looking at. I also wanted to let you know that this kit that some of you were waiting for is now up. This was our cards on Thursday, and the kit is now up and available. We've got this beautiful polar bear set. And there's a video out there to walk you through that. Honey, I need another piece of this cardstock. This was badly stained. And here. And then we also have Seasons Tweetings, the Robin. This set is now up and available. I believe it's $12.99 for 6 cards and envelopes. So a little over $2 a card. Oh, I'm missing one. Oh, there's one more sitting here. Total of 6 cards. This one's made on velvet paper. And this first card that I show you has a wonderful acetate overlay. I believe it might be in this 3rd row towards the top there somewhere. Okay, I also wanted to let you know, some of you were asking about the availability of Alice in Wonderland. The Alice in Wonderland album kit is now up and available on the store. It's a little less than $50. And it's really quite beautiful, as are the rest of the Alice in Wonderland. You get not only the papers and the album, but you're getting stickers, you're getting the Shades of Pink floral collection, you're getting foam squares, getting lots of good things in that one. So I know that several of you have been waiting for that one and have asked, so it's now out there. All right, I've stalled long enough. We've got a pretty good group here now. Let's go ahead and get started looking at least at their different styles of cards. I call today our 3 fun folds, and we'll look at the different styles of cards. This is one style, the side stepper. That's the one.
Big enough?
I don't know if that's big enough. Yes, I can cut that one down, but I actually need 2, so I need a full sheet.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what's up that these two are stained. I thought for a minute maybe I had something on my hands, but I don't. Just they were stained. So this is our sidestepper card, which is one. You need to come in on these, please. There we go. This is our sidestepper card, which is one of our 3 fun folds. You get this big panel here, and then you get 3 stair steps on the other side. This is our double center step card. You get 3 steps on each side of this one with the panel in the center. And our third fun fold is our Z-fold card. And our Z-fold card folds the cover in half, and you decorate using a half a panel. And then I have one inspiration card I just threw in for fun because I love the way it turned out, and it's made from the same paper pack with all of the same designs. We'll talk a little bit more about it later, but this is just inspiration. So it's 3 + 1 fun folds. And this one has a little panel on the front. I love the way the leaded snow looks on the white against that blue background. And I'll talk to you about how I made this attachment down here. But isn't that pretty? The 3 fun folds + 1. So I have all kinds of samples here. One I made last night I thought was pretty. So I think it's time we should start making some of these. So I'm going to set up some of my examples off to the side here for inspiration to remember which things go together nicely and I can keep us moving forward. We're not making 5x7s today, but those Z-fold cards look beautiful on 5x7s. I had some 5x7 examples in my pack here. You could make them, but you wouldn't have as many. You won't have the envelopes, and you wouldn't get as many cards making 5x7s. So anyway, we have those also. So I'm going to set up, like I said, a few of my samples here that I can look at. And we are going to whip right in and get started on these. First, I always like to start with something really easy. So I'm going to start with a Z-fold card. And let's make this one on a red base. In fact, let's make that poinsettia one that we're looking at. We're going to start by scoring our cardstock at 4 1/4, which will make our card 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Once I've scored it, I'm going to use my scoring tool as a bone folder, and I'm going to score that seam in really well. Now I'm going to put this back on my scoreboard, and I'm going to go to 2 1/8. Oops. I really am going to go to 2 1/8. There we go. I'm going to go to 2 1/8. And I'm going to go ahead and fold this back on itself. And that's how easy it is to make a Z-fold card. It's as easy as that, guys. So let's go ahead and decorate our first Z-fold. I'm going to go to my paper pack, and I'm going to pick out a couple of pieces here. This really is just the most remarkable paper collection. I just love it. Here's one of the papers I want. I want this poinsettia paper. I want a nice blue background. So I'm going to take out one of my polar bear sheets. Because those poinsettias and the snowflakes look really good together. And I'm going to look through my ephemera pack. When I made some of my samples, I was using leftovers from both my 12 by 12 and my 8 by 8. So a few of my samples actually have oversized pieces that I don't have in my ephemera pack. These are little crummies. Let's get this ephemera out so we can see what we've got here. I do have one big pretty topper in this ephemera pack. It's beautiful. We've got this one. Sometimes with these ephemera pieces, you have to go ahead and pull out the punches that didn't get cleared entirely in the die cutting process, just like you do with your own die cuts. That's beautiful. That actually would go really nicely with our card. We've got just really beautiful pieces available here. I'm going to set some of these larger pieces that might be great for the outsides of our cards aside here so that we can find them easily. Really pretty pieces. I really didn't spend any time clearing the die cuts on this one. With that beautiful clock face, you've got all these pretty elements. There's lots of smaller elements that will look great on our cards in here. So, okay, I was looking to see if I had a larger topper there. Not too much in large ones. So I'm going to go back into my paper pack and I'm going to look at the cutouts that are available to use on our Z-fold and stand-up cards. Here's one sheet of cutouts. This one has a lot of smaller elements, so will work great actually for our stepper cards. Let's go ahead and take one of those out of our paper pack. And there's a larger sheet of cutouts, I believe. Yes, here we go. There's also a larger sheet of cutouts here. We'll go ahead and pull this one out. And let's go ahead and get our pieces out here. So for this card, I'm going to use this paper. I think I'll use this pretty flower. And I'm going to need my scissors here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out my poinsettia flower. And just a little hint, as you're cutting out these pieces, leave these borders intact because this holly border is just beautiful. Huh?
You're off camera.
The holly border is just beautiful on the stepper cards, as well as the others, actually. You can make really beautiful pieces using that border around your cards. In fact, I think I'll take a piece of that holly now and see if we might be able to use that on our cover of our card. I'm going to cut down one side of this holly and keep that out. Now, let's see what we can do. Okay, this back panel of my card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut, in order to be able to let my beautiful red cardstock show through, I'm going to grab my trimmer here, and I'm going to cut my backer piece for my card to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to take 1/4 inch off each of those dimensions. I've got 4 by 5 1/4. That should be a good fit for the back panel of my card, and it is, letting that pretty red border show all the way around. I love that. And then for the front panel, this was 4 1/4, so it's 2 1/8. So from my snowflake paper here, I'm going to cut one piece. Let's take that trim strip off so I don't inadvertently include that in my measures. I'm going to do a 1 7/8 inch strip. And then I'm going to cut that 1 7/8. Let's see, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut this one to 5 1/4. 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 for my front panel, to leave that so I have my pretty red border all the way around it. Now we can start putting our card together. Let's grab a glue bottle here. Okay. This is a very, very easy card to construct, but they really are pretty standing up. I like the looks of the Z-fold card standing up. And it's a really, whoops, just dropped that right on my project. It's really pretty, and yet it takes just a minute to put these together. Now that I dropped that glue, I'll get rid of a little extra glue here. I also want to let you guys know that the explosion box kits that some of you have been waiting for are now up. The explosion box kit includes Let It Snow prints and solids, and it includes an 8x8 book, and it includes, what else did we put in there? We put something else in there. Might have to look.
Say hi to Diane and happy 39th anniversary.
Oh, hi Diane, happy anniversary. Okay, I love this poinsettia. I think I'd like to have this trimmed out a little bit more though. So I'm going to take some of my scrap from making my cards and put a nice red border around here. And I actually think, yeah, I do. I have some green scrap too. I may actually layer this up a couple times, make this smaller topper a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and put the poinsettia topper on red. Grab my scissors, wherever they may be. And if you're nervous about doing this by hand, you can always use your cutter to do it. I I trimmed that off. I love the way that looks. That looks pretty. Now I'm going to put it on a little bit of green background. So I'm going to make that topper bigger. Which I think is going to look really nice on my card. I believe we still have a few of these kits left. These kits are selling like hotcakes locally to our people who are coming in for the 3 Fun Folds class, but I'm sure we still have a couple of these on the website. When you're at a point you can, honey, it'd be great if you could link that for them. So this is going to go here on the front of my card. And I just want to see what it would look like if I put a pretty piece of this holly across the top and the bottom of my face of my card. Yeah, I think that's going to look really nice. It used to be. So this kit is about $26, and it's going to make 12 cards, and you'll probably still have materials left over. So a little over $2 a card. Whoops. Cut those two out. I didn't allow for my border. It's still just a little on. Okay. Oops. Boy, I have dropsy today. Okay. That looks just right. Alrighty. Got our pretty holly above and below. We've got our beautiful poinsettia topper that we've double matted. I think just for additional fun and interest, I'm going to put this side piece up on some foam. So I'm going to use just a little piece of foam tape here to make this stand out on the front. That looks gorgeous. It's looking very pretty already. I'm wondering if I might like, I think my Twinkle Stickles is on the table. When you're at a point you could grab it for me, that'd be great. Instead of putting rhinestones on this one, I have this beautiful snowflake paper. So I'm going to put some centers in my snowflakes to get a little sparkle in here. That helps. And just for fun, I think I'll put just a little bit of frost, maybe on my poinsettias. Just a little bit. I'm getting more glue than I am. I need a pen.
Brought you a wheel last week.
Huh?
Brought you a whole wheel of pens last week.
Yeah, I don't know what I did with them. My stickles is jammed and I'm getting glue out, but I'm not getting the glitter out. So I just have to clear that clog a little bit. And it should give me, I just want to put just a little bit of glitter on these poinsettias. Why not? It's Christmas card. Christmas cards need glitter, don't they? I kind of think they do. And I don't need an awful lot. Just enough to make it sparkle. And here's our card. This is what it's going to look like standing up. Isn't it pretty? So easy. Hey, Mary R., I'm glad you're here. Take it. Mary won't be chatting a lot because of her injury to her arm, but she's here. So you want to put this on the table so I can stay out of it, please? We have a lot more coming. Let's do one more of our Z-fold cards for the benefit of those who came in a little bit later. A Z-fold card is really easy to make. You are making a Z-fold by simply taking your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, score it in half, of course, and then score the front cover at 2 1/8 to fold it back on itself. Then we'll rub in these score lines really well. And we're ready to work with it. Let's see what other one I want to do here. I have that pretty, this is almost too big to use on some of our other cards, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use this one, this larger ephemera piece on this card. Although I think I might like this better if it were in green, so let me get one of my green card bases. And let's go ahead and score this at 4 1/4, which is my halfway point. Stop doing that. There we go. 4 1/4. I'm going to score it again at 2 1/8. Folding my card. Folding my card again. Using my scoring tool as a bone folder to really get those creases in. Now this set is going to be pretty on this. He's going to be beautiful in there. Okay. All right. I have that. We're pretty much almost using up the front cover of her card here. So I'm going to just put a border strip on and I think leave the front cover of my card just as it is. And I'm going to take another one of these little poinsettia borders that we just talked about, how useful they are. I'm going to take another one of these. And I'm going to run that from, I'm going to clear across the front. I think I'm going to run this from top to bottom across the front of my card. So let's go ahead and put some glue down. Isn't that a pretty card color? I believe this is from Basil Basics. Oops, it's some I've had here for a while, and it's the one that we included in everybody's kits. Boy, I am a hazard with the glue today. Okay. And I'm just going to run this strip from top to bottom on this little front panel. I'm going to, what do I want to cover the back with? Let's see what we might want for the back of that design. I think something maybe with some blues, because this has, we have the green, picking up the green. I think maybe the blues out of here would be a really nice background. Why don't we take one of these and trim it down. I know it's got all that beautiful artwork on the front, but it also has this beautiful blue diamond check on the back. And I still want to be able to use these little stamps. So I'm going to trim the banner off the top there, just the paper ID, so it doesn't get confused in my dimensions. And my card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I'm going to cut my backer here to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, we'll put this on our green and see how that looks. I think that's going to look really nice. And we'll put this in place. Let's just check this and see how it's looking. Yeah, I like that. With the blue around the outside, kind of picking that up. Let's go with that. It's always hard to cut the pretty patterns on the reverse of a piece of cardstock, but I got to be able to use both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and put my pretty blue diamonds down. Almost a harlequin kind of pattern to this one. Leaving my nice green border around it. This piece of ephemera is actually fairly hefty. I don't think I really have to mat that on something else. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back here. Go around to these little edge pieces that they've got going here. Want it to stick good everywhere. Give it just a little extra glue there. I'm going to come in about like that. A little white glue showing through the holes there. I don't care, it's going to dry clear. And then just for some fun, let's get, we can find them here in my mess. Let's get, I can't believe I can get a mess this big this fast, guys. If crafting spirit is measured based on your ability to lose things on your desk, then I am really a spirited crafter. Do you think I'll take my wet wipe and just pick up a little of that glue? I'm looking for my rhinestones. I have more here I can just snag, but I'm going to put some rhinestones here at the top. And come over here. Put 3 here. Put 3 at the bottom. And I think we're done. I could put a little image of some sort, I suppose, on the inside. Let's see what we might want to put on the inside of this one, just to have a little extra interest on the inside. How about we use this little Noel right here in the corner? I like this one. We'll use this little Noel, just to have a little added interest on the inside of our card. Now I could always come in with some stickles if I decide I want to, but this would be a beautiful design to have stickles on. But here's my card with my extra little Noel on the inside. So we have the first 2 done. Maybe I'll put just a little on here before I let this get away. I'll put a little bit of stickles in the center of my snowflakes. I'm going to put just a little bit on this tree back here. I'll put just a little bit on the ground at their feet. And let's put a little on that tree that Santa is holding, just for fun. There we go. Now we're done. Aren't those fun cards to make? You have enough materials in your kit to make 6 cards of this style. I think we'll move on to the next style of cards. And if we have time, we'll wrap back and make some more of each style. But I want to make sure we have plenty of time for each style of card that we're going to do. So move those for a minute. Okay, next, let's make one of our stepper cards. And these, a lot of you haven't ever tried making your own card bases. And it's actually quite fun and satisfying to make your own card base. And it's surprisingly easy. You might want to write down these dimensions, because when you go to put your card together, the score lines are going to be important. So I'm going to give you just a second to grab a pencil and paper, if you would, so that you'll have these dimensions available when you start making your cards. So I'm going to give you just a second here to grab a pencil and paper. And then I will give you the directions to make your stepper cards. In the meantime, I'm going to clean my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Would have been a good thing to do before I started. You know, you don't want to rush into these things. Okay, is everybody ready? Okay, just as before, we are making 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cards, which means that you will start with a piece of cardstock that is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches. 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 because that folds to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so start there. Now we are going to using our paper cutter. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to come in 1 1/4 inches on my card. 1 1/4 inches on my card. Make sure I get that nice and lined up at 1 1/4. And I'm going to cut a slit in my card that runs from 1 inch. Should be clear up here. I'm going to cut a slit that runs from 1 inch down to 6 1/2 inches down. So I'm cutting a strip from 1. I'm 1 1/4 inches in, and I'm cutting a slit from 1 to 6 1/2. Now I'm going to do it on the other side. So in order to make this easy for myself, I'm simply going to turn over my cardstock and I'm going to line it up again. And I'm going to cut a slit from 1 to 6 1/2 inches. And now I have matching slits on the sides of my cards from 1 to 6 1/2 inches. Now I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And starting at the end where I have the shorter side to the left. So I'm starting on that side. I'm going to score at 1 1/4 inches on each side, just on these little panels that I've slit. Don't go through the middle. I'm going to score at 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to score at 1 1/4 inches. Well, maybe I'm just going to do each side separately. I'm going to score at 1 1/4. Then I'm going to score at 2. I'm going to score at 3 1/2. I'm going to score at 4 1/4. That score line's going all the way across my card. And then I'm going to score at 5 1/2. Now I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to score at 1 1/4, 2. I'm going to score at 3 1/2. I already have my 4 1/4, so I'm going to go down and I'm going to score at 5 1/2. Now, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to fold this card. So I'm going to fold my first fold down. My first fold will be a mountain fold on each side. I got that cattywampus somehow. I may not have done this right. Let me go back. Maybe I didn't write it down right. I wrote it down to make it easier for myself, but I don't think I got that written down right. Hang on. Let me go back to my pattern, which I also kept handy just in case it was needed. Okay. All right. Let's try that again. I'm going to do the whole thing again. Sorry, guys. But cross that out. We're going to do this again because I don't think I got that written down right. So I have my cardstock that is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And we're going to cut a slit that is in 1 1/4 inches. So that part's the same. 1 1/4 inches in. And I'm going to cut that. Well, these are different. I'm going to cut that starting at 1 1/4 inches, which actually kind of makes a little bit more sense. 1 1/4 to 5 3/4. I'm going to turn that over. I'm going to cut that again. I've done this a million times, and it's frustrating that I put it down wrong. 5 3/4. Okay, let's try that again. I just slid it from 1 1/4 inch to 5 3/4 inches. Let's try that again and see if it works better this time, because that didn't fold right last time. This makes more sense because my slit starts at 1 1/4 and I'm folding. My first fold is at 1 1/4, so I like that. All right, and then I'm going to do that one from the other side. I'm going to go to 3 1/2. I'm going to go to 4 1/4. That one goes all the way across. And then 5.75, which I'm going to have to do 4 1/4. I'm going to have to, I have a little tiny scoreboard here, so I don't have a 5 3/4 line. I'm going to move my 4 1/4 even with the end of my board, and I'm going to score it at 1 1/2, which is the mark I'm looking for. Now, I'm going to turn my card over and do the same thing. I'm scored at 1 1/4 to 3 1/2, 4 1/4 all the way across, and then I'm going to make my last score line 1 1/2 inches from that last score. Let's try this and see if this works better. Okay, I'm going to fold this at the halfway point, and then I'm going to go in. I'm going to make a mountain fold, a valley fold. There we go. Now everything's laying down right. Okay, so let me just reaffirm those measures for you now that we have them correct. I apologize for my error there. I just wrote it down wrong. I'm not sure exactly how I did that, but I wrote it down, and I should have just used my source document. Yeah, this is beautiful. Okay, there we go. See? Now we have all of our steps in. So let's do that. Let's talk through that again, just to make sure you have it written down right and don't pull a Debbie. So you're cutting your card to 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. Then you're cutting a slit 1 1/4 inches in on your card on each side. You're going to cut in a slit that's 1 1/4 inches, and it's going to start at 1 1/4 inches, and it's going to go to 5 3/4 inches. Okay, so you're going to cut a slit on each side that's in 1 1/4 inch, and it's 1 1/4 inch, and the cutting line starts at 1 1/4 and goes to 5 3/4. Then you're going to score that starting with the small side, with the smallest side on your scoreboard on the left. I want you to score both sides of your cardstock at 1 1/4, 2, 3 1/2, 4 1/4 goes all the way across your card, and then each of the side panels is scored at 5.75.
Say hi to Kim R,
Hi, Kim
Adeline,
R.
and Kathy Girl.
Okay, so we've got that one. Let's do another one right quick while we're thinking about it, because I wanted to show you it's not that difficult. I just made it difficult. I'm going to grab my tool. Hi, Kathy Girl. I'm going to lay my cardstock into my trimmer at 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to go to 1 1/4 inches on my machine. I'm going to cut a slit from 1 1/4 to 5 3/4. I'm going to flip my card over, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. 1 1/4 inches in from the edge of my cardstock, and then I'm going to start cutting at 1 1/4 inches, and I'm going to cut a slit down to 5 3/4 inches. Now I'm going to get my scoring tool, and I'm going to score that at 1 1/4 inches, at 2 inches, at 3 1/2 inches. I'm going to do 4 1/4, and this one goes all the way across my card. And then I'm going to do one at 5 3/4. Since I don't have a 5 3/4 mark, I'm starting over here, and I'm scoring in 1 1/2 inches. I'm going to repeat that on my other side. I've got 1 1/4, I've got 2, I've got 3 1/2. My 4 1/4 line's already there, and I already created my end piece. When we go to fold it, it folds in half, and then we fold these sides. The first fold on the side is a mountain fold, then a valley, a mountain, and a valley, all the way up. And you get this beautiful card base, which was not difficult to make. I just made it difficult. This is not difficult to make. Take your scoring tool and really push those in, and there you go. A pretty little card base. Okay, I have a piece of snowy paper that we used a minute ago, and that's what I'm going to put on my card base here. I'm going to, let's see, I have to think about my math here for a second. I'm going to create a piece. Last time I just covered the whole thing. Maybe I'll do that again. Let's just cover this front piece entirely. And it's okay to do this in 2 pieces if you want to, which is faster and easier than working out the dimensions for the entire thing. It's 2 3/4 wide. So I'm going to cut a piece It's actually 2 and 1 little mark over 2 3/4. So I'm going to do 2 7/8. Let's hold that up and see how that does. And I'm going to cover this panel. And then I'm going to take a 1 1/4 and cover the panel this way. It's just fast and easy to do that. So this should be 4 1/4 long. Yep, that looks great. I'm going to go ahead and glue that in place. Okay, now I want to piece this 1 1/4 long, 1 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 inches long. And I'm going to glue that this way. And I have my face covered. Then I'm going to go to my paper pack and I'm going to find the borders sheet. There's a whole sheet of borders in here. There it is. This is the one I want. And the one I want to use right now is this one right here. So I'm going to cut that border out. It cuts right along the edge of these tags. And I'm going to actually cut this with my paper cutter because it is not straight enough to cut with my scissors. I'm going to find the center here. And I'm going to cut off this strip. Come in a little closer, please. And I'm going to put this. I actually want this on here so that my peace, love, and joy, all 3 show. Honey?
What?
Did you come in closer?
Yes.
Okay. I want the peace, love, and joy on this banner to all show. So I'm going to take this center piece and glue that down. Then I'll just trim off my edges. And I'm going to bring this clear to the bottom and put that on. Now I've got my peace, love, and joy nicely arranged along the bottom there. I'm liking that. So I'm just going to trim off these 2 edges. Okay, next, I'm going to go to my ephemera, and I want this clock face. I'm going to weed out all the extraneous pieces and the numbers. There's lots of them. And I had a minute ago that would be most excellent for that job. Yes, I about got it now. Just knocking out the extra pieces in the Roman numerals. Okay. I am going to run my clock face. I'm going to put it so that it just touches my border at the bottom. And then there's another piece of ephemera in this pack that is a banner. I'm going to find my banner. Here it is. I like this banner for this from the ephemera. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down my clock face first. Put my Santa right here. This is just like this clock is made to go in this space. I'm going to put my banner here where it's overlapping my clock a bit. It looks good that way. Now I'll leave this next step to you, now that you guys can't do anything you want with your cards anyway. I loved the Season's Greetings banner here. I think it went really well with the banner I chose across the bottom. But I didn't like these long tails hanging out. So I used the banner and then I cut the extra pieces of ribbon off the banner. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But I liked this. Now I'm going to get a piece of, let's see. Taking smaller pieces. No, I'm using a bigger one. Let's see. Let's go. We're going to go in and take this poinsettia banner right here. So I'm going to cut off the tags so I can reach that banner. I'm going to take that nice wide poinsettia banner there. Get it all lined up. And this is what I want. I don't think I needed these dots at the bottom. I kind of overcompensated a bit there. So I'm going to take these little dots off the bottom. And I'm going to use these to cover my steps. This will reach down a ways on my steps. It'll be a beautiful complement to what I have already. So I'm just going to put some glue in here. I'm going to put my banner or my border in there. Then I'm going to trim it with my scissors. Then I'm going to do my next step. I'm going to put the banner in. And I'm going to trim it. I'm going to go to my other side. I'm going to put my banner in. A little glue here. Set my banner in, or my border in. Trim it. Try to get it right where I want it. And I'm going to do the last step the same way. Put that piece of border in. Trim that last little bit off. We're getting there. That's looking beautiful already. But what it really needs is a little extra little accents. So I'm going to my ephemera pack and I'm looking for these two snowflakes. There's one of them. And there's the other. Well, those are slightly different sizes. Let me see if there's still another one here.
Catherine loves the class. That's fab.
Well, I wish I hadn't messed up my dimensions for this card, but you guys are so cool about letting me correct myself and move on, because, you know, when you're live, you can't do much else, can you? If we weren't doing live, I'd just redo it and edit it, but live is live. You get me just the way I am. Okay. I'm going to take these two beautiful snowflakes and I'm going to position them kind of in the corner here. It's going to partially overlap my clock, partially overlap everything, and kind of stick out into the second step. So I'm going to put some glue on here. Thank you, Catherine. Okay, and I'm going to pop that snowflake right into the corner. Look what that does for that. It just kind of finishes off that edge, don't you think? I'm gonna have a little bit of weeding to do on this snowflake. A couple little pieces that didn't pop out when they die cut it. And then I'm going to position this right in the corner, just as I did that one, where it's kind of overlapping the clock, kind of overlapping the side, just kind of hanging there in space. Because I like the way that looks. It really softens that edge, doesn't it? But what it needs now is a rhinestone. So you have rhinestones in your pack. And we're going to take that rhinestone and put it right in the middle. And another rhinestone right in the middle. Whoops, don't you move. There we go. Right in the middle. I'm really liking the way that looks. There we go. That's our number two, or I guess it's our first stepper, isn't it? But there we go. That's our stepper card. Isn't that beautiful? Great fun. Thank you, Roberta. Okay, so this one's done. It doesn't have any stickles on it at this point, so we can just set that one aside. Let's do another stepper. This one's fun. Okay, this one I did in red. So let's do this one in red. I need to set my extra white card base aside. Okay, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to position my cardstock at 1 1/4 inches, and also starting at 1 1/4 inches, I'm going to cut a slit in my card from 1 1/4 to 5 3/4. I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Starting my cut at 1 1/4 inches in and 1 1/4 inches down, I'm going to cut a slit that runs from 1 1/4 to 5 3/4. Now I've got my slits cut in my card. We'll move our trimmer aside. We'll grab our scoreboard. We need our scoring tool. And we're going to score at 1 1/4, at 2, at 3 1/2, at 4 1/4. We'll go all the way across our card. And then we need one at 5.75, which I'm going to do by going back to the middle and choosing 1 1/2. Then I'm going to flip my card over, and I'm going to repeat. I'm going to go at 1 1/4, at 2, at 3 1/2. I already have a 4 1/4, and I already have my score at 5 3/4. I'll fold my card in half. Then I'll make my steps. Perfect. I'll make my steps again. And that also is perfect. It does look a little raggedy when you first fold it, so you have to lay it down, and then you have to score those, just really hit those again with your bone folder and make those stay down where they belong. And then it looks great. So now we have a red stepper card. Okay, I'm going to start this time. I'm going to use a great big image on the front. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge with our math, but we can do it, guys. We can do it. I'm going to cut one piece out of here to face my card. So I'm going to need, very first thing I'm going to do is cut this edge off so it doesn't inadvertently end up in any of my measurements. So I'm going to cut that edge off. So get rid of that. Now, I'm going to make the top of my card face right here. Come in close, huh? Well, I can't get that far forward, so there we go. There we go. That's better. I want this. I'm going to come up. I'm cutting off the very top of that tree, but I'm going to cut right here along that blue line. So that's what I'm going for. And that's going to be the top of my image. Oops, didn't get it cut off quite right. Let me get rid of that blue. There we go. That's where I wanted it. That's right where I want it, right there. Okay. And I'm going to measure down 4 inches from there. I'm still going to take off. I have that tiny little dotted line there. I want to go away. Get rid of that tiny dotted line so I have a nice clean image. And I'm going to measure down. My card is 4 1/4 inches tall, so I'm going to cut this to 4 inches. And that leaves me with this part of my card, which is just right. Okay, now each of my side pieces, I know that my card is 5 1/2 inches wide. So I'm going to make this total image 5 1/4 inches wide. So I'm going to pick out the best part of my picture that I can get and go to 5 1/4 inches wide. And this should be just right now for covering the face of my card. I'm going to cut 2 notches out of here. So I wanted to get this to 4 by 5 1/4. Now I need to cut 2 notches out to make this fit my card face. My card is going to be 1 inch wide on the bottom. Yes, 1 inch wide. So the notch I want to cut out is going to be 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. So I'm coming in 1 1/4 inches. Let's see. To be 1 1/4 inches in, and I want to cut out 2 3/4. Need to make sure I have my card right side up. So I'm going to cut out 2 3/4 inches.
Say goodnight to Catherine.
Good night, Catherine. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's see how this is matching up. Need to be a little bit deeper. Okay. Needs to be a little bit deeper. Another 1/4 inch. Stop it. Need to take another 1/4 inch out of here. See how that matches up. Oh, that's perfect now. Okay, just need to match it on the other side. See there? Okay, so the notch out of this side ends up being 3 inches. By 1 1/4. So I need a 1 1/4 inch. go 1¼ inches in by 3 inches. And last time I took 2 3/4 and had to cut some more. So 3 inches. Then I need a 1 inch slit. There we go. Let's see how this looks. I got it. Whew. So the notches you're cutting out are 1 1/4 by 3. And we have that nice image all ready to go for our Santa now. So let's go ahead and put him down. We have one more style of card to do after this one. So after we finished a sample of this one, we'll do our side stepper card. I love the way this looks. This looks great. Oops. Get it glued in there straight, it'll look great anyway. Just come right in there, watch you. There we go. That looks beautiful. Now, I'm going to use some of this blue paper this time to make my steps, because I think that'll look good. And let's make those steps about 1 1/4 inches. So we want to allow a border around it so it'll look really pretty. So I think each piece is going to be 1 inch wide. So let's make this 1 inch. I think that's right, because it was 1 1/4 inches. So let's see how this matches. Perfect. It's perfect. So we made it 1 1/4 inches tall and 1 inch wide to fit these steps. That looks nice. Let's make another 1 inch piece for the next step, because it's a little bit more complicated with the math, but it's nice when you have a colored card base to let that card base show. Let's cut some more for the other side. We still need 1 inch pieces. One and 1/4 inch by 1 inch pieces. Pop those in there. Okay, let's put that in. These are looking pretty. Look there, that's pretty already, but I think we should put a couple extra little embellishments on it. So, somewhere in here, I have a beautiful, I'm going to use this one that says love on it. Let's see what else we have in here. I believe we have 2 more snowflakes. I'd like those if we find them. There's one. And I also used, let's see, I can use that little bird. Finding my second snowflake. It's got to be here, just waiting for me. I found it. Okay, let's decorate this up now. We're going to put our love kind of at the top and over the edge of that tree. We're going to put that there. That needs some foam tape. Use a little piece of foam tape on that one. Okay. I'm going to put that love right over Santa's shoulder there. I like that. From my ephemera, let's put these snowflakes on these. The snowflakes are dark on one side and light on the other, so choose the one that's the most appealing to you. No, I think that snowflake kind of gets lost in here. I might not use that this time. I might use something different because I used blue on the steps this time. And that kind of got lost. But I can find some little pieces here that will be good. I can use these on a different card. I don't want to use those yet because I like what I did with those last time. Oh, I like these. This kind of matches the love we put on, so I'm going to put this and this on my steps because it kind of matches the love I used last time. And I think that'll look pretty. So let's put these up here. Then let's get our little, should be another little bird here. Where's everybody hiding? Ah, there we go. Oh, that bird's kind of cool in green. I think I'll use that bird in green this time. See, it's blue on one side and green on the other. Look how cool that looks when I put it on in green. I'm using that this time. The blue bottle. I'm going to put a little glue on this bird's feet because I don't want those coming loose. And I'm just going to put this little bird at the bottom here. I think he's really cute. That's really cute. And then I'm going to put this holly kind of sticking up on this top step. Do that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with this different shape holly. The colors will pull it together. I like that. And now I see one more thing I want to do. I think I want to add a sentiment down here. So let's see what we have in these sentiments we've cut off. We also have many more up here. So let's see what we want. This one, I like this one right here. Here's one that says, "'Tis the season," and it's light blue with a polar bear on it. We have a polar bear on this card. So let's take this one. I'm going to leave a little red border around it to make it show in the snow. Let's put this down here. I'm going to keep an eye out. I think I don't like the red border. I'm going to cut it back to just the blue border. I think that's going to look better. Okay. So we have our greeting on there. And I'm just going to keep an eye out, I think, for what I might like to use on these two. It's not coming to me yet, but often I'll just work along and then find something I like and pop it in there as I go. So I'm going to stop on this one temporarily, although I do love the way it's coming together. And consider that unfinished business there. You know, one thing I could do is maybe just put some rhinestones on that step, and that might be all it takes to make that look good. Let me try that. I just feel like it needs something there. Let's see what would happen if we just popped 3 rhinestones on this. It looks good. And you have plenty of rhinestones in your kit to do this. I think this card is going to want a little stickles too. Let's go ahead and put on a little bit of stickles in this background. And this will be 2 of our card styles finished. Just putting a little bit of stickles around in the background on that tree. Put a little bit on what Santa's holding here. Not getting too heavy-handed with it, just lightly. Put a little on the ground here in front of him. Everybody's been stepping. And I think we're going to call that finish, guys. You back up just a little, please. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's let's put this on the table to dry so I'll stay out of it. Thank you. Okay, let's move to a new card design. All right. All right, our next design is going to be, let's find our card base here. And we are going to begin by coming in to 2.5 inches and cutting from 1 to 6.5. 2.5 inches in, and then cut from 1 down to 6.5. We only have to make one score line or one cut line this time. We'll grab our scoreboard. Bring that in. Need our scoring tool. And this time we're going to score at, okay. And we're going to score starting on the narrow end again at 1, 2. So we're going to do only scoring to the line. 1, 2, 3.25. The next one's at 4.5. And finally at 6.5, which I don't have on my machine. So I'm going to go from 4.5, that score line I made there. 4.5. Yeah. And I'm going to come in 2 inches from there. And 6.5. And then I'm also going to score my main fold at 4.25. Okay, I'll fold my 4.25. Then I'll start folding these. And we end up with a pretty triple stuck on one side. Okay, now, what do we want to do with this? Let's get there's a pretty robin paper in here. Let's take a piece of that pretty robin paper. Very great, which will look great on this green. And I'm going to let my border show around this again, so I have to do some quick calculating. going to take my strip off of here so that I'm not inadvertently including it in my measurement. My card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to want my paper to be 4 inches wide. No, 4 inches tall and 5 1/2 or 5 1/4 inches wide. So before I cut my notches out of it, that is just right. And now I need to cut a notch out of it that is going to be two and 3/4 wide by 3 1/2 tall, I think. 2 3/4. Just look at this one more time. That was 2 1/2, so 2 3/4 wide by 3 1/2. Okay, 2 3/4 wide by 3 1/2. That's pretty narrow. I think I'm going to do this a little less than that to start with and then check it, because that seems really narrow. Okay, I'm going to do just, let's see. I know this is probably going to be too wide to start with. I just didn't want to hack it off and then figure out what to do. I messed that up somehow. I have to do that again. Or I need to use border. I may just use border down one side, which would be beautiful. Okay, I'm going to narrow this down a little because I knew I was going to need to. Somehow I kind of messed up my dimension there, but I'm going to narrower. I got my borders too narrow somehow. I misstepped there, but I'm just going to put some borders here. I think that's going to look okay. So I'm going to actually glue this down and add some borders. It's a little bit more complicated when you have to figure out what your cutouts are and you're leaving borders around everything. It's much easier to just cut them and put them on there. That looks okay. It's just these two pieces here. In fact, mostly this one is a little off. But I'm going to try and put in a piece of that poly border because it's really good for fixing little boo-boos. Where is that holly border? I know I have some left. myself all kinds of little notes about putting in, or about scoring, but I did not leave myself little notes about the notches to cut out, which would have been smart. There it is. There's my holly border. I'm going to use a piece of this holly border to cover up my little blunder. And nobody's going to know I didn't do that on purpose. Yeah, that's going to look good there. Cut off the corner. This is going to go right here. That looks great. Put that little border right there. I may put one on the other side just to match it. We'll see. Not decided yet. There we go. That looks really pretty. Okay. And now, what am I wanting to do with this? I have, let's see. I have this beginning to look a lot like Christmas and a banner that might go really nicely along the bottom here. I'm gonna check this out and see how this would work. Somebody want to report that guy? After all that work, I kind of end up covering up my robins. If I use this, I think what I'll do is, thank you, Adeline. This is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It's pretty. I'll take this off the bottom.
Betty and Roberta also reported him.
Good job, guys. Okay. I like that. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. That's cute. Okay. Now, what do I want to do? Oh, somewhere here, I have this pretty little robin cut out on the tag sheet. There's 3 little robins. I think it's just right for this card. We can put them back here on this stand-up. I think we might just use one of our pieces of border on the one in between. figure out what I want to put in the main space. I definitely like these back here. So I'm going to put these robins in the back. And they have peace, love, and joy on them, which is really cute. And then I just need one more little border. Oh, there's one right here. Got some blue off of it. I'm going to put this little holly border right here. That'll finish off that step. Let's go ahead and put this on that second step. We need to decide what, if anything, else we want to add to our main area there. I actually kind of like just the So Very Merry and the Robins, but what do you guys think? Should we put another image here? Let's hold one or two up and then we'll see. I have this piece of ephemera tag. That's pretty busy. I put that in there. Let's see what else we've got. We've got this one that's got the big poinsettia on it. That might look pretty with the robins. That actually looks kind of pretty. I think if I use this one, I might want to trim it out a little with red. Let's put just a really tiny red border around it. I like that, I think. What do you guys think? Put an image or leave this alone and put little stickles around the robins? I do like the robins, I have to admit. I really do like the robins. You guys want some stickles or you want a tag on it? You can always use this tag for the next one. I see Roberta's comment. Anybody else want to comment? Did I not get over here with my water bottle? Is it in the room?
Doesn't look like you brought it out.
Okay, I'll live. It's not long to go now. Stickles, image, without. Let's try the stickles and see what happens. When you're making yours, go any way you choose. I think I really do kind of like the robins just by themselves. So let's put little stickles on there and see what we think. Maybe what we'll do is put some stickles on the holly. Just kind of outline the holly leaves a little bit. Just a little there, a little here. And then we'll put some rhinestones on to try and see if we can give it a little more finished look. And a little in from the side there. And let's grab a couple rhinestones and add maybe two. Just stuck my finger in the stickles because you can't trust me not to do that. I think we'll leave it. I like it. Okay, let's put this one over to dry, please. We need one more of these side stepper cards. And let's decide what we want to do for that. We need to make another. All right, so we need a card base. And let's see. I like this one here a lot. Let's do something that looks like this one. Not sure what I just did with that little tag. Okay. So we're going to make another side stepper card, which means that we come in by, we're going to place a card base in our trimmer 2.5 inches in. Check. And we're going to start with the blade 1 inch from the top. Okay, so we're going to cut from 1 inch to 6.5 inches. So here's 1 down to 6.5. Now we're going to go to our scoreboard. I'm going to start by scoring at, we're scoring at 1, 2, 3.25. Oops, put on the board the right way. 1, 2, 3.25, and then 4.5. And we need to go to 6.5, little board, gonna go over here, move it, and I'm going to score at 2 inches to get to my 6.5. I need to also put in a line at 4.25, which is my regular fold line. Okay, hold it on that line. Start folding some of the rest of these. Got my card folded. Okay, I'm going to really burnish those lines in. And we have our nice sidestep card. We're going to, this time, I'm going to look for my dark green background. It's one of the dark greens. I think there's two. Yeah. I want this one this time. And I'm going to get my trimmer and trim off the top. Left a little there. Let's get rid of that. Okay. I want a piece that is for I'm looking to see which one of these I'm more likely to want the images from, because this is 8-inch paper. They're both 4 inches. And I'm going to go to 5 1/4 wide. And this should be theoretically a perfect fit here, and it is. Okay. Now, I'm going to also, I want this poinsettia border off of here. I think this looks really beautiful with our green we've chosen. So I'm going to go get this poinsettia border right here. And I'm going to cover this strip across the bottom with that. Get it cut quite straight. I'm going to straighten that up again. There we go, like that. And yeah, I like that border. Okay.
Betty asks if there's another update to the Christmas card list coming soon.
There is one final update that will have Margie's new address on it. And if there is anybody else who has any changes, I'm not taking new additions at this point. My paper slid, but I actually think I got enough of it. So there will be an edition coming out probably over this weekend. I just need to put Margie's address on it and send it again. If there's anybody else that has a change, let me know right away. Okay. I really didn't need to cut that paper that wide, because I'm going to put this down here instead of cutting a notch out of this one. So all I have to do is decide how wide I want this piece to be. It's 3 inches now, so it needs to be 2 3/4 wide. I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to come across with that border that I just chose. So this is going to be a lot easier to do this one. made another album, so my glue bottles are getting empty again. Okay, I'm going to put this one right here. That's beautiful on there. Yeah, that looks great. Might trim this border just a little bit and let some of that red show. Let's try and see if I can trim this off a little more. Let's see if I can trim this back to the snow line, actually. I'm trimming this border back to the snow line in an effort to get this narrow enough to use with my and let a little of the red show. One more slice off of here. Stop moving. Okay. I got that trimmed down to where now I can have my red showing. That looks beautiful. I like that. Okay. I'm going to clip this off even with my green. Hopefully Ruth will send in her new address, but I will, I'll get that out. Let me give them until Monday to get any address changes in, and I'll send that on Monday. Okay, I love that. Isn't that pretty? Okay. I still have another little piece of this poinsettia border. I'm tempted to use it on step 2, but I think I might like something different there. I'll probably use that that same holly border because I love those holly borders. Yeah, I think it needs something different there. So I'm going to use a piece of my holly border. I tell you, I sure love this paper. I bet you can tell since this is my how many kit. It's from this. We still have one more too. The explosion board kits are up now. I'm going to put this on this step. There. Okay, we got the second step done. Third step, I'm going to use another piece of this holly, and then I'm going to add this little So Very Merry Rabbit over here. Because I like the way that goes with the green. So I'll add a little piece of holly here. Then we'll build our rabbit up from there. You guys should have more than enough materials in your cart, in your kit, to get 4 of each style of card done. I'm just going to do this one and the side step, and then I'm going to show you how to do the inspiration card, or we're just going to walk through it. I don't know that I need to show you. It's fairly self-evident. That looks cute. Building up, it's looking cute. Now I need an image to go there. We had that one we trimmed out a minute ago. Where did he go? He's right there. Oh, I do like him on here. He's going there. We can add a little stickles here. So I'm going to put a little in the trees back here. Kind of behind the reindeer and Santa. Put a little around on the ground where Santa's standing. Just a little. Maybe put a little in these, around these poinsettias. Just lightly kind of semi-outlining. I'm not really taking the time to outline entirely. I'm just kind of roughly going around the poinsettias, but lightly, very lightly. Keep a light hand with your stickles, guys. You can always go back and add more, but you don't want it to look globby. There we go. There's our cute little scene. These steps might have looked good to put some green in behind. I see there's quite a bit of white showing, or red showing here, which actually isn't bad because we are kind of featuring the red cardstock, but it wouldn't have been bad to leave a little more green under there. Maybe use some of this. Still pretty. Okay. Will you put this over on the table, please? Okay, we've done 2 each of our Z-fold, our double stepper cards, and our side stepper cards. Now I just want to look at that inspiration card again because it's really, really pretty. And that, let's see, there's a piece of your ephemera. I can lay hands on it right this second. There's a piece of your ephemera that is words that, I'll just show you on the card, that looks so pretty on white. So to do this card, I just took a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. I covered it in my light blue snowflakes, which is on the back of the polar bear sheet. I took one of my ephemera snowflakes and I added it to the top with a rhinestone and I put in stickles around it. And then I made up this little folder. I'll give you dimensions for this, which is 3.5 by 2. So I cut my paper to 4 by 3.5 and folded that, made a little folder there, and added my Let It Snow to that. And I think that turned out beautiful. And then this wouldn't stay closed. So I decided I need a little closure on it. So what I did, and this will crack you guys up, but what I did is I put this little tag, this little Let It Snow tag coming off the bottom of it. And then I put my 'Tis the Season sticker. There's an ephemera piece like that you can use on the inside, backed by the blue snowflake paper. And for my closure, I used 3 little micro dots, just tiny, tiny, tiny dots of the best glue ever. So I made little micro, just 3 tiny micro dots of the best glue ever and let it dry. And that becomes a really good closure. The dots aren't big enough to be and strong enough to glue it down permanently, but they make a great temporary adhesive. So that's how I got that little folder to close. I lined the inside with matching paper, used the same Let It Snow sentiment for my borders, and added a little cutout with Let It Snow and polar bears to top it all off. But I love this card. This card was great fun, and I think it's so pretty with the white and the Let It Snow and that light blue paper. So there we go. We've done 7 cards today. You'll get a total of at least 12 out of your kit. Once again, I apologize for the mistake in my dimensions initially, but we recovered and moved forward nicely. And now I hope everybody has the correct dimensions and information written down for your score lines. Do you guys all have that, or do you need me to repeat anything? We can look at some of my other sample cards here, just leave you with a little bit of inspiration for some of your other cards. I have a few more sitting here. I'll show you those. Does everybody have your score lines and your cut lines noted for making your card bases? So much pretty ephemera left to use. It's a beautiful pack. Yes, you have them. Okay. All right. Let me show you a few of the others that I made. I thought this one turned out pretty. Using now some of these tags might be a little different because I was using leftovers from my 12 by 12 also. Some of mine might be a little bit bigger, but you can always take some of these smaller ones and make them bigger by layering them on the red and the green. But this was how I decorated this one. I think that one turned out pretty. Okay, and that one we pretty much did. This one we pretty much did. Here's another of the center steppers. This is the same topper we used a minute ago, but you do have several of those on these cutout sheets. I love the combination of the stickles and rhinestones on this one. This one makes me happy. Okay, and this one I really, really like. And I wanted to be sure and show you this one again because I really like this one. This one, I used the holly ephemera, and when I got all done, I put it in the corners like we did the snowflakes. And then when I finished the card, I went back and put stickles over that. And that just creates such a neat impression. I used 2 of the cut-off stamps. They're on the first page. On the back of the first page, there's little stamp cutouts. I used the 2 sand cutouts here. Just made these match and put the tiny snowflakes. And you can get this, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas off the bottom of one of the sheets. You can just trim that off and use that. But I thought that was fun. Here I used a little ephemera banner over my picture. So there we go. I think that's pretty much what I have to show you. Remember that we have the fabulous, unbelievable Black Friday sales going on. Just some incredible buys. There's more to look forward to as the days go on. We're going to have a special on heartfelt creation. You're not going to believe. We will have heartfelt creations, dies, and stamps, and we will also have Heartfelt Creations paper packs coming up. We are going to have some specials on Ciao Bella. So really good. Really good. Okay. So are there any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom from you guys? Let's see. The week ahead, we'll have new specials for Sunday coming out tonight. We'll have new specials for Monday coming out tomorrow night. There won't be a $2 Tuesday. Instead, there will be another edition of Black Friday. Do we have products for What's New Wednesday this week? I believe we do.
So.
Yeah, so we'll be back with What's New Wednesday on Wednesday. Then Thursday, we won't have class, but we will have new sale items going up. And we'll have our final edition of Black Friday coming out on Friday. So you're going to get lots of newsletters from me in the next couple days. Be sure you check your mailboxes. And it's getting to be that time of year when some of the newsletters are bouncing because people have too much mail in their mailboxes. So you might want to go in and purge out some things you don't want to keep so that you'll get your announcements of what the new sale items are. You don't want to miss anything in this coming week. I'll tell you, we've got some remarkable things. And I hope everybody has a good week preparing for Thanksgiving and a terrific Thanksgiving, but we'll be talking to you before the holiday. So for now, I'm going to say, hope you already hit that like button if you thought this class was worthwhile. And if you're not currently a subscriber, hit that subscribe button because we have great things ahead. And for now, I'm going to say good night, Gracie.